You ever log into your work account and just seamlessly access files from different departments, maybe even different company apps? It kind of feels like magic, right? Well, behind all that, there's a fundamental set of rules about trust. And today, we're going to explore that invisible architecture that makes our digital lives possible. We're talking about trust transitivity. So let's think about it like this. You trust your best friend, right? Completely. But what about their friends, the ones you've never even met? Do you automatically give them that same level of trust just because of that connection? It's a really basic question about relationships. And here's what's so fascinating. This isn't just a human thing. Nope. Computer networks, from the smallest offices to absolutely massive global corporations, they are wrestling with this exact same problem every single second. How far should a trust relationship actually go? So let's pull back the curtain on the rules that govern all this digital trust. We're going to dive into the foundation that lets different parts of a network, or even completely different companies, work together securely and, without everything falling apart. Okay, the core idea here is called trust transitivity. Now, I know it sounds a little technical, but don't let the fancy term fool you. It's really just asking a simple question. Does trust transfer from one relationship to another? It's the digital rule that decides if trusting your friend means you automatically have to trust their friends too. Let's make this a little more real. Picture a big company. It's got different departments, and in the network world, we call these domains. So the sales domain needs data from engineering. Meanwhile, engineering needs to share its prototypes with the research domain. You can't just let everyone log in everywhere. That would be total chaos. You need a system, a set of rules to manage all this trust. And that brings us to our first model of trust. It's basically the friend of a friend rule. This is what we call transitive trust, and it's the default, most efficient way to connect related groups that already have a good reason to be working together. So here's the breakdown. With transitive trust, the relationship just flows. It's automatic. If domain A trusts domain B, and then B turns around and trusts C, then a trust between A and C is just created. Boom! No extra setup, no manual work, it just flows right down the line. Let's go back to our company example. Step 1, sales trusts engineering. Got it? Step 2, engineering trusts research. Okay, so because this trust is transitive, the system automatically concludes that sales can now trust research. You can see how this lets access just flow across an entire organization without someone having to micromanage every single little connection. Now, this model is incredibly powerful, especially for big organizations. Network admins often call their whole collection of connected domains a forest. And inside this forest, these transitive trusts are usually created automatically. This is what lets an employee log on just once and get access to everything they need. It's seamless, it's efficient, but there is a risk. If one domain gets compromised, that access could potentially spread to other trusted domains. But what if you don't want that trust to flow? What if a relationship needs to be a private deal, strictly between two parties and no one else? Well, that's where the second model of trust comes into play. This is called a non-transitive trust. And the keyword here is restricted. The trust only exists between the two domains that create it. That's it. It does not pass through to anyone else. If A trusts B, the story ends there. C is not invited to this party. Now, this approach takes more work. Every connection has to be made manually, but it's a whole lot more secure. So, let's put them side by side. Transitive trust, it flows automatically. Think of it like a big family reunion where everyone is just assumed to be part of the group. Non-transitive trust, on the other hand, is explicitly restricted. It's more like a private business deal you make with your neighbor. That deal doesn't just automatically extend to all their friends or the rest of the neighborhood. So, when do you use one versus the other? Well, choosing the right model isn't just some techie detail. It's a really critical decision for balancing security with easy collaboration. And the use cases here are actually pretty clear. You use transitive trust inside your own organization. If the marketing department needs access to files and sales, that's a perfect case for an internal transitive relationship. But what if your company partners with an outside design firm for a project? That's when you use a non-transitive trust. You give them access only to what they need without opening up your entire internal network to them. And when you kind of zoom out, you start to realize that these simple rules are actually what hold our incredibly complex digital world together. They form this intricate, invisible web of defined relationships. So whether you're just logging into your work computer or two giant global companies are merging their entire systems, it's these two types of trust, transitive and non-transitive, that form the invisible foundation making it all work, and making it all work securely. And that leaves us with one last thought. As our world gets more and more connected, with AI systems, all these smart devices, global partnerships becoming the norm, which model of trust do you think is going to be more important? Is it the seamless, automatic trust that makes everything easy, or is it the careful, explicit boundaries that put security first? It's a pretty big question, and it's one we're all going to be answering together.